Welcome everybody to Champions League Week 5. I am your lovely caster, joined today with my friend K-Vox. How you doing today, K-Vox?
I am always incredibly psyched when I get to watch Rocket League, talk about Rocket League, be around Rocket League. If you have not seen Championship Sunday, you missed out and you need to get on the Rocket League Esports YouTube page and watch those VODs. I am not kidding. I am not going to spoil anything. Might be the best major I have ever seen in the history of this esport. And speaking of, we have an incredible doubleheader tonight that I cannot wait to get into. I know we wanted to talk about how things have gone to this point, Zan, but oh my goodness, it's
It's
just going to
gonna
be a whole night of action. Yeah.
No, it's going to be an absolute, titanic matchup tonight here with the two, crazy teams. We will take a look at the rosters real quick before the match history, for this week, because I know everyone's really excited about those rosters.
Of
Everybody who's
course.
going to be playing on each side. We've got BDG versus Nameless Esports. What can you tell us about these teams, K-Vox?
I can tell you a whole lot. It's going to be very interesting because they both played very similar matches yesterday. Not yesterday, last week. I am so sorry. And they both played against two of the top teams in the league, SBC and Bloom, who just a couple days ago played against each other, and Bloom finally made SBC look mortal. What I'm going to be looking forward to here is kind of the question of relay race pressure versus just ball theft. BDG is a little like SBC, who Nameless played last week, in that they really like connected transition change, very fast moving three car presses, and immediately getting on the attack, almost like Gagan press style. Take possession and just go. And Nameless has shown that they can put together a very large quantity of shots on goal. Past couple weeks, they have had 22 and 27 shots respectively, especially Alacia and Shadow, no relation to our lovely league owner. They are very good at aerial control, playing off walls, intercepting passing chains, stealing off dribbles. But what I'm interested in is they lost to a team much like the one they're going to play tonight, Zan. And their rotations seem to have a lot of trouble. Their ability to consistently clear the ball away and transition into offense seem to have trouble. If the door is not shut fast, I think it's going to break down again very fast.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see which team comes out on top. Real quick, before we get into the actual matchup tonight, I do really quickly want to go over our match history for this week. We were supposed to have Twix on here tonight, so don't mind that one there. But what can you tell us a little bit about the matchups that have been this week?
Certainly one of the weeks of Rocket League of all time. Incredible stuff. I want to zoom right in on what we saw. This was actually not last week, this was a couple days ago, so not on this screen, but the obscene in, upset that is Phoenix taking down the top team in the league, Thunderbolts. They were looking invincible almost when they 3-1 Hydra, and then you just had, I don't know what happened that day, but it's showing nobody is invincible. Spacebound Cowboys took on Nameless. I was just talking about them. A very clean 3-0 there. Reapers, I think everyone was a little shocked to see Twisted Isolation take them down, much like, everyone was really talking about them being at the top of the power rankings and how they were really leading the league. And Twisted Isolation really showed that anyone can have a good game in this sport, anyone can have a good night, and anyone can be beaten. I think that's an incredibly important mindset to have, especially when you're HSA, who we're going to be seeing later on, who are currently winless on the season. And Nameless Esports, here's an interesting thing. They are ranked higher than BDG on power rankings, despite a significantly worse match record. 1-3 individual games, 4-10, compared to a 500 season, 9-8 in individual games. BDG looked really good against Team Bloom, even in defeat. They show that they can give any team a hard time if they want. Tier 1 looked really good against Lotus. Duality and Galactic played a tight series. There were a lot of very, very, very close matchups. And later tonight, I'll love to talk more about 1NE versus Lag, because 1NE is actually going to be facing HSA later tonight. But to all you lovely people in chat, no spoilers. I'll get to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I do see that our team is ready to and rearing to go here in the match. I just want to make sure, Kvox, you did get the name and password there for the match setup, correct?
Roughly 2 seconds before you said that, so you're
No
going to be
worries.
hearing my lovely voice for a little while longer as we get into this lobby, everybody. I know nobody minds. I've been hearing some rather blush-inducing things.
Oh man, we're so glad to have you, Vox, because you know it's there's a lot of people specifically that have been getting a chance to sort of get their feet wet here in the casting scene, and I don't know specifically how much casting experience you've had, but we always love having you specifically here on the cast, and I know that you had your cast robbed from you last week, so you guys will be getting to run it back with Moon later tonight for that HSA versus 1NE that you guys will want to stay tuned for at 8 p.m. tonight. Without further ado, though, I do want to get into the match and without keeping our players waiting here. We're gonna hop in. It's always important to keep our players happy, as they are some of the most important people for us here on the pitch. I'm gonna go ahead and give
Yeah,
them the
it's hard
sign.
to
My
it's
bad.
hard to have a league if nobody's playing. That's all I was gonna say. Imagine the English Premier League, but nobody's on the pitch, and Peter Drury's just kind of talking about empty air.
Yeah, right.
But,
You just imagine it's an empty soccer field with nobody on it and just a bunch of casters in the booth, you know?
Yeah. But speaking of empty, Uffen's low on boost. Empty gets the kickoff to start this out. Uffen, Vision already lobbing it on. Shadow's got it away from him. Uffen's shadowing in. Gets demoed. Shadow. That's going to get a little confusing. Shadow defense, shadowing, demos to Shadow. We're going to have a lot of Shadow time over here. Twisted takes the ball away. Right now, this is just, wow. There's a lot of Rocket League, and I have been looking forward to this with bated breath all night, Zan. That is why I had a very awkward start to those first few seconds. But we're back in order, everybody. Welcome to Rocket League.
Welcome to Rocket League is right as Twisted bangs that one over the top of everybody and makes the first blood appearance here at 4 minutes and 12 seconds. He does, welcome us quite into this game nicely with a banger downfield. It looks like Uffen trying to get the redirect there, but
goodness.
Just shy of making the actual touch. The effort was there, though, Kvox.
It absolutely was, and that was just pretty much the exact thing I was talking about earlier, wasn't it, Zan? The ability Shadow has, I was expecting Alacia here too, but he shows that very brilliantly to just steal the ball away at the exact moment the relay needs to pass the baton, and just creating a whole shooting opportunity, just creating a huge offensive hole. Right now, Jetwind is trying to make something happen, trying to fish it out of that corner. Can't quite get it. Aiden's demoed before he can do anything. Uffen, our lovely friend who does a lot of the production here and a lot of casting, he of the ASMR, sleepy, relaxing, awesome casting voice, really doing a great job with the physical play, in my opinion, Zan.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm genuinely interested in watching this BDG roster play out here on the pitch tonight.
Yes.
I haven't had a lot of chances to get to see them, perform specifically in, Jetwin and Aiden, but I have had the pleasure of playing with Visions, one of those higher salary players, out on the pitch. He's very mechanically talented, very inclined to go for, things that he, most people think he probably wouldn't be able to. Speaking of, he's going for a flip reset. We'll see if he's able to do anything with it. He gets underneath one and he finds the top pins.
A lovely floater there. It seems like he fakes out Uffen here. Uffen realizes the jump's gonna go down, that's gonna turn into a faked flip reset. Twisted's not able to twist around in time. That is incredible car control and ball control. You'll see that a lot with Vision, especially with his synergy with Aiden. You're going to be seeing a lot of outlet passes, a lot of connected attacking chains, and sometimes Jetwind just solos everybody. Sometimes he just does that.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't seen a lot of Jet win, so it's going to be interesting to see him, come out and really show us what he's made of here on this pitch. Twisted now showing us what he's made of, banging that one into the corner, and Ufen just shy of the redirect there. Vision now down the field, cut off by Shadow JT, and he's going to bang it into the middle of the field here. See if they can put together a play, but no, Aiden robbing them in the midfield, and this seems to be a bit of a back and forth matchup, 1-1 here. No team eager to overcommit on anything specifically here. Kvox, which team do you need to pull, or which team do you think needs to pull something out here to sort of gain the upper hand?
Ideally, either one of them. Neither of them wants this to be a 1-1 draw the whole night. This is not association football. As much as I love football, as much as every reasonable human being does. But right now, what you're seeing from BDG is them trying to resume that fast-paced attacking Rocket League I've talked about, and I mentioned that Nameless is going to need to disrupt those chains. They're going to need to steal the baton. They're going to need to disrupt the ability to coordinate an attack, or this is going to happen. Aiden finds the opening. He gets that ball right down the pipe. He knows everybody's spread out too far, and nobody can do a whole lot more than kiss it goodbye.
Yeah, I will say even Jetwin following that up nice and quick behind, not even like allowing that defender a chance to maybe make a save there, even though that wasn't actually going to be saved. It is the thought that counts. Vision with more than thought, a little bit of brain and brawn combined to get that save out of the way, rotating at just the right time, something we've seen out of that young rookie quite a few times, but now showing us that he's turning into a little bit of a veteran with his skill level being one of the higher level characters on the pitch. We'll see if he can kind of lead his team to victory. In Jetwind trying to get that one center, but not succeeding fully. It's a little bit of a tough situation. No team really finding their footing quite yet. Every team a little bit precarious, not wanting to make the false first move and pay the price for it.
Right now, Jetwind and Aiden are looking very comfortable here, contesting the midfield and stopping Nameless from really contesting much. Right now, Vision gets that out. Ufen tries to intercept Vision. That is a quick 2v1, and Vision just gets through everybody. Oh my goodness, Zen. Vision is on one tonight. Somebody put something in his Wheaties.
Yeah, he needs to be on one. He seems to be the one man that can kind of lead this charge for BDG right now. He's kind of putting up numbers right now, and Aiden did find one earlier in the game, but Vision has looked like the leading factor in putting a lot of these plays together, getting the ball down the field and into a perfect position for his team to maybe follow up, or if not, just getting it right into the net. But he, as we say that, makes a beautiful pre-flip save on the goal line. Now Jetwind forced to make one, but 6 seconds is not a lot of time to make this comeback, so we'll have to see something maybe out of a Nameless next game as the 1 second mark drops, and we're waiting for the ball to drop. Aiden puts it down. BDG will take their first game in this series. Not a position that I think either of us thought was going to be the case, but BDG turning around and showing us that maybe we were in the wrong there.
I'm curious what you mean.
I think BDG has had a lot of ability to wow on the main stage, but they've kind of been a middle of the pack team, whereas Nameless has kind of been a middle of the pack team, but they've really shown out on many occasions, a little bit more consistently than I think BDG has. I don't know if the scoreline specifically shows that on their power rankings or anything like that, but I definitely do think I would have predicted maybe Nameless a little bit more confident in this matchup.
I was expecting something like this. This is why I made a lot of hay about the previous week's match against SBC and how there are similarities between SBC's playstyle and BDG's. Although you did see a lot more of the solo play hero ball stuff with the BDG as opposed to their usual playstyle of intricate attacking chains and 3-car presses, where a big issue they run into sometimes is the hinge play gets disrupted and suddenly there's just a ton of backfield. And something you saw there too was Ufin was extremely aggressive at trying to create and exploit those openings. As we go into the second kickoff, we're going to see if that works out. Twisted already opening with a demo. Aiden trying to set up an early shot. Can't quite get through that 3-card defense though. Aiden goes right back into the corner. He circles around. You see Ufin already immediately taking charge again. Wise Shadow just trying to get it right back, playing quite wisely. I'm terribly sorry. That was much funnier in my head, but hey, that's the funny one. I'm just the pretty one.
Hey, you've got the informative, the analytical brains to back up that sweet little mouth of yours. No, just kidding. No, Twisted sending that one down the field and getting the demo to go with it. He is rocking that Paris decal, so it is gonna maybe give him a couple of superpowers as he comes out and looks to maybe make an effort on, putting in a dent on this series. They are 1 game down now after the first matchup, not going in their favor in the slightest. 3-1 being the scoreline there, but Shadow JT coming out and getting an early one. We'll see if they can keep it this time. Finds a nice shot though.
Oh, absolutely. It's interesting how he gets it by Jetwind there. Seems like he almost fakes him out a little. I'm a little surprised to see Jetwind kind of falling for that because we've seen that he has incredible ball sense and car control. So really well done on Shadow's part to just straight up outplay him there.
Yeah, I will be curious to see if Nameless can kind of come out with a little bit more, maybe, I don't know what the right word is, maybe gusto or confidence, but I don't want to overuse the word confidence there, so I'm going to use gusto. But Ufin, seeing if he can show some gusto, see if we can get actually an actual depiction of what that looks like here on the pitch. But Shadow now back in his own corner, so maybe I'm speaking ill of the team then. And maybe making them, make some missteps here. Maybe I'm just a caster curse.
Here I thought you were just trying to make a very specific goal explosion happen, my friend.
I was hoping for it, man. Oh, and that one goes all the way down.
Yeah, that was incredible from Vision. He has very good senses of where to put his car, and you'll see him trying to create passes a lot. He's been doing a little less of that this series thus far. I'm a little surprised. Ufin continues to be his aggressive self, just continually attacking that ball. Seems like he's just going straight after the ball and after opposing cars every time he gets the Giants. Oh my goodness! I feel like that should have gone in. Amazing play from our producer.
Yeah,
our other producer.
This is becoming. Well, I was going to say this is going to almost become a massacre here of the backboard as Nameless keeps putting shot after shot on this backboard and gets aggressive in the backline, getting these bumps and stuff, trying to maybe find an opening, but they're not quite getting there. They are staying in this midfield, keeping the pressure up. Shadow now trying to get something around, but Aiden robbing Ufin to the wall with no boost. Twisted does get a nice bump onto Jetwind, but that's not going to go anywhere. Now Jetwind to the other side of the field. Aiden banging it downfield on low boost, but Shadow there to rob him away. See if Shadow can do something. Just kidding. He's going to get it off the wall, and Ufin going to go there for the 50. Vision into the middle, maybe? No? I think I see a lot of concepts here, Vox. I see a lot of concepts, but I don't see a lot of execution, unfortunately.
How's that for execution? How is that for execution? He reads that ball coming straight on, and that's what they call an overpass. I've been saying that a lot in Champions League, where you'll see players direct a touch away, usually off a wall or off a corner in Rocket League, and it's just going straight into opposing bumpers. I'm really surprised because BDG's coordination is usually better than this.
Yeah, maybe I'm just not allowed to speak, Vox. I think that's what it is. I think it's every single time I say something, something just works out for the opposing team. And, Twisted throwing that one out to the backboard and into the center for Ufin, who finishes it off in a very aggressive fashion. This is more of the Nameless that I was hoping to see come out. Ufin now getting a part of the play and works out for them.
Yeah, that was a perfect setup from Twisted. That's the kind of thing I was saying you'd expect from BDG, but that is perfectly put into the air, exactly where Ufin needs to put his car, and Ufin's aggression this game has really been paying off. This guy is more of a rugby forward or a hockey enforcer than a Rocket League player right now. Don't
Well, it's
let these two
almost
cat ears fool you.
it's interesting because it's almost the sort of play that we see come out from our honorable admin Shadow Dweller in a lot of these plays. It kind of attributed to being her style of play, the bumps and the aggressive play, getting into maybe some mischief on a rotation out. But now that one going across the screen as maybe BGG can hang on for a little bit longer. They're not quite putting a dent in the score here. The margin staying very wide, but will they be able to get it in the last 30 seconds, or will they have to sort of start thinking about the next game, Vox? I don't know.
They're running out of time right now. That is not much time at all to make 3 goals happen. I have seen it happen, but time is dwindling and the pressure is mounting, and it's getting less and less realistic by the moment. Vision's trying to make something happen, but there's nobody in a position to get that ball. It's just sent straight back into their corner. Shadow's trying to make a shot happen. That was probably intended for Ufin. 8 seconds on the clock for game 2, my friend. This is probably going to be a much harder match than BDG was counting on, and Nameless is absolutely happy to be showing what they've got.
Yeah, that's an interesting matchup there. We've got an interesting scoreboard specifically to talk about there. Shadow JT coming out with 428 score, 2 goals, 1 save, and 4 shots on his account there. What a game for Shadow specifically. Shadow coming out and becoming the leader that Nameless really needed him to be. It's an odd situation to be in because I think Shadow doesn't usually like to be the playmaker on that team. I think he likes to kind of play the support main, being the consistent player with mechanics who can kind of make any save that is absolutely necessary. But is this kind of the Nameless that you were expecting to see, or was this a shock to you here, Vox?
I am surprised. I was expecting Nameless to start buckling a little under the pressure, but they've been doing a great job of keeping BDG from building up any real attacking momentum. I think what I was talking about with different play styles between SBC and BDG means that in replay review and scrims, Nameless have had the advantage of studying an opponent that plays a lot like this. And right now you already see Vision almost getting it. This is what I was talking about. But this is what I was talking about, Zan. Look at how Vision sets this up. He sees that defense coming in and uses that to knock the ball upwards. It comes down. Aiden knocks it in before the defenders can even recover. That is the BDG I was telling people to watch.
Yeah, what a play from BDG there. Really taking the moment and seizing it, finding themselves on a first goal, 1 goal up here early game. That's going to do them very nicely. I think that's the first time they've been up, first in game. Maybe they'll see if they can hold that goal margin as they put another one towards the net. Ufin there to save it away. Vision now trying to see if maybe they can put it together, but I'm not sure if they'll be able to, maybe get there. I'm not seeing the execution from these plays kind of come together the way that I'm looking for them to be, but we'll see if they can, maybe exhibit a little bit more chemistry, some sort of chemical reaction to happen, but Shadow shutting that chemical reaction down very nicely.
Incredibly nicely. Vision tries to bring that inwards to create a transition play, and Shadow immediately steals the ball from him. This is a problem BDG has historically been having. Boost management also, but spacing and making sure there is a safe layer for their transitions. Usually, if their play falls apart, it's because someone was not in position for a pass, or nobody was in third, essentially. Either someone was rotating back too late, or just nobody was present because nobody was expecting the attack to be countered.
Well, we'll see if they can put something together. Wow. Here is Ufin.
Oh!
Just kind of sneaks in there and manages to kind of beat it over a couple of different people. I wasn't expecting him to get it. I don't think he was expecting it, but it does make it in there.
I don't think BDG was expecting it, my friend. They froze when they saw that floater bloop off one of them. They just seemed to have no idea that was coming.
Yeah, we'll see if they can, maybe get some foresight here going, because they did lose their 1-0 lead that they got very early on, and now Nameless coming back and, you know, slapping back a little bit, saying, don't disrespect us, don't count us out in any way, shape, or form. We're still in the game, and Oofin, we'll see if he can get another one there. He puts it to the backboard, and Shadow JT following up beautifully, snags another one for him.
That seems like it should have worked. You see Vision's thought process, but he knocks the ball into a position where Shadow is directly in front of it, and none of his teammates are in a position to turn and contest the shot.
Yeah, we'll see if this is something that they can keep up here in this series as Nameless, you know, coming out very confident in this third game, or the second game, my bad. Best of 5 here tonight. 3-1 is going to be, or no, this is game 3, right? Yeah, this is game 3, my bad.
This is the third game. Yeah, I think my co-commentator is from an alternate dimension, chat.
No, is it glitching on your side too? Because I see it in game. It says that one is only one, and then on my barrel it looks like it's right. So
yeah, I remember for a fact seeing that first game, but the game itself is telling us that there's only been one game.
Well, love Rocket League, the humanizing moments for you there. That's one of those things that Rocket League just loves to do. Glitch on you. We'll see if that's the only glitch we see tonight, though. Twisted finds his way towards the center. We'll see if he can find a play, but no, Jetwin finding the save. Aiden now on low boost, taking it down the field, but Shadow JT there to scoop it away. Oofin following up, trying to get it downfield. We'll see if they can find their way, but Vision's getting in the way of everything here. Vision's looking like he's being forced to do everything for this team, unfortunately.
I don't know if I would go that far considering how Aiden made an impression at the beginning of this game, but the two of them are definitely trying to create attacking opportunities, and Nameless is not really allowing there to be any midfield space for them to pass the ball through. Right now, you see that blooped over to Jetwind a bit. Oofin comes straight in, barreling in. Twisted gets the ball out of their pocket, sends it into the corner. Oofin's already circling back to retrieve it. You see what I mean about his aggression and about how it's preventing BDG from setting up the kinds of relay plays they like.
Yeah, they do love to play those infield passes, a little bit of inlet passing plays. You know, it's very hard to put that together when Nameless is kind of just all over the ball. Shadow JT putting that one in front of the net, but it will roll across now. You know, a lot of the plays that are being set up from Nameless here are just plays of pure aggression, as you know, evidenced by Oofin right there, and low boost still rushing his way across the net and pinching it out somehow. I don't understand how that didn't go in.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't think anybody does. I am somewhat speechless that our gentle voiced cat-eared producer is this damn aggressive on the ball. Sets up a beautiful shot for Shadow. Oh my goodness, and look at this. Aiden tries to stop the ball rolling along. Shadow goes straight in behind him, and you see Vision go for it. He's just not quite able to get there in time. BDG's comms are falling apart. That's the only explanation I have for this, man.
Well, now, I mean, 37 seconds. It's a little bit of that same, you know, margin that they found themselves at in the last game. You know, now trying to figure out if they can make it work, but they will get a goal here. So maybe 2 kickoff goals. That seems reasonable.
Yeah, that's certainly within range, and that could force an overtime, especially if you see Oofin just trying his darned best, but there's no reaching that, especially if the discipline is going to collapse like this. I think Nameless might have let their foot off the gas a little. No pun intended. We'll see what Jetwing can do. Tries to set something up. That is not going to work out. Aiden goes for it. Saved! Oh my goodness! Shadow stops that and damn near stops the hearts of BDG, Zan.
Man, 7 seconds remaining, and that's a really hard one to sort of battle back from mentally, I think, for BDG. We'll see if they can kind of claw it back here in the game, but now Nameless up another game, and I think on match point now. Yes, match point. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's going to be a very difficult position for BDG, but it is still possible. Nobody's going to say no. You know, nobody wants to count the team out until it is the fat lady's time to sing, but Looking at this scoreboard, anything
Mhm.
to any story that's told here that jumps out at you, Vox?
Honestly, I am blaming the temporal distortions and the game refusing to acknowledge that that first game happened for why I've been all over the place tonight. But Shadow has just leveled up to an insane degree. I already knew he was a playmaker from his performances in week 4 and 3, but the way he's playing off Ufin and how many opportunities he's creating and how often he is stealing the ball when BDG try to create an attack and try to transition out of their own third, he's doing incredible work.
Mm. No, I'm seeing both of these teams really battle very hard. So, well, as we get into this next game, we'll have to see if BDG can claw their way back. It's going to be a bit of a slugfest if they do, if they manage to find their way. It's a bit of a beaten path, but they are weed whacking
There
their
we
way
go.
through as Aiden takes a first blood here in game number 4.
Look at the way Jetwind weaves through the defense, forces them apart, and creates that opening for Aiden. That's the BDG they want to play. I mean, if they had been doing that consistently all night, we'd be looking at an incredibly different scoreboard. The game would already be over. The match would be over. They did win that first game, even though Rocket League itself refused to acknowledge that.
It's Visions is gonna try and get this one down the field again. As we question our choices of words here a little bit, in the cast. No, I think you're all right though.
Breaking the fourth wall.
It's one of those days. No, Visions putting some stuff on the board for his team. He's gonna try and get some control here, try and put together some execution for a play, but no, Ufin clearing that one down the field. Force him back into square one, back to the drawing board a little bit.
Oh, that was dangerous. That was intended to bring the defense upwards and have them not notice the finishing touch. Fortunately for BDG, they were able to stop that. There was not quite enough power on that ball. Nobody was really quite in the right position. But what you're seeing here is Ufin. You're seeing Ufin. He sets it up for Shadow. Shadow misses it. That is a lot of real estate, but parried. Oh, I was going to call out Aiden going for it, but he does not even get a chance. Ufin's warming up the demo engine, everybody. Aiden tries to get the ball back, tries to transition, loses the ball again. That's going back towards goal. Oh my goodness. BDG are usually the one putting on the pressure and making teams sweat, but they are just having so much trouble, even after that early goal, getting out of their third. Shadow takes out a defender as sacrifice for that save. Jetwin tries to carry the ball along. He doesn't really have anybody to drop that ball off for, though, and you're seeing Nameless just very efficiently rotate backwards. Oh my goodness! Zed, just break this down for us. That was, oh my god.
I mean, Shadow with an absolute banger downfield, and Jetwin, I guess, unfortunately, on in an uncomfortable spot there on the backboard, tries to make the save, and unfortunately ends up, top binsing it into his own top corner. Not a position that any person wants to find themselves in, but it is a position that every Rocket League player, SSL to Bronze 1 will find themselves in at some point. So it's a very humanizing moment for, I think, everybody, but Vision's trying to get one to go. It's not quite going to be there, but it's going to sit there on the goal line now. Shadow trying to get down the field on very low boost, but he'll get a flick over one. Ufin trying so hard to confirm something, but Vision's stealing it away and now staying in that midfield. Nobody too eager to overcommit, but Aiden there to save him away. Absolute masterclass of defense coming out from the side of BDG. Fox, I don't know if you get anything for free here, but Ufin is gonna find his way through 2 more defenders and secure them a 1-goal lead again.
That was absolute perfect reading of just the boost states and defender positions. Everybody had already been watching the skies there. Ufin sees the opportunity to get that little floater into the corner, and he just takes it. People keep talking about Ufin missing open nets. That's the common Champions League in-joke. I think we got Bizarro Ufin tonight or something. I mean, you already have been commentating like you're from an alternate dimension, so I think he hitched a ride over because this is not the same Ufin.
Hey, I appreciate it always, my man. But yeah, no, those like crossover comics, just like those, where we're seeing Ufin come out in a different form tonight as Shadow doesn't want all the attention taken off of him. He'll find one for himself and bring him up to a 3-1 lead. That is
This
quite commanding here at 141.
I like Ufin's little attempt to just absolutely make sure the ball goes in right there. A little bit of a teammate pinch. Very good teamwork from him. And that's what we were talking about at the start of the show a little, that BDG sometimes, once the chain breaks, there's nobody in a good position to be the oh darn lever. The guy who circles in, rotates back, and stops the counterattack from getting out of hand. So nobody's often back there, and when they're doing well, they're just an incredible headache to play against. But you're just seeing them fall apart very often. They looked brilliant at the start of this game, but they very quickly stopped being the same BDG. Nameless are playing incredibly well tonight.
Yeah, Nameless are playing incredibly well, and it's very evidenced by this scoreline specifically right now. I mean, BDG have managed to snag one, but it did seem like maybe a little bit of a fluke appearance now after all of these, the rest of the series is played out. Nameless now showing that they are very, very confident in their abilities. Twisted off the backboard, an absolute banger downfield. Now we'll see if Shadow JT can follow up. He will, straight to Ufin, and Ufin saved away by Aiden on the back line. I will say Aiden not really being that loud of a player on the pitch tonight, but he is managing to make his sort of impact on the goal line, evidenced by all of his crazy saves that he's had tonight. Probably saving them more goals than scoring them, but that's almost more important.
Yeah, but see how often he and his teammates are low on or outright out of boost? That's part of the problem that BDG have been having as we whittle down the final seconds to this series. They have just not been able to have enough fuel to have the power to get out of their own half. And Nameless is going to take our first series of the night, everybody.
My goodness. What a series.
I like this team a lot. I think they play incredibly fun Rocket League. I did not expect them to go so quietly tonight.
No, I don't think anybody really expected them to go so quietly. I think everybody was expecting probably a game 5 scenario, but that kind of goes to show that Nameless, not to be counted out in any capacity, they can come out and show out, as evidenced by tonight. Shadow JT putting up some numbers, 713 score in that last match. But the chemistry felt pretty good from them. They felt like they were rotating really well, and they looked like they were, being aggressive, stealing boosts, snagging demos when they could. Those kinds of things are really hard to make sure that you're doing, but Nameless did, and managed to secure themselves a win with it, Vox. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, I am still of the opinion that they scouted out BDG and they knew what kind of team they were going to be playing against because they played incredible anti-BDG. They were preventing BDG from building up. They were playing incredibly physically with demos and bumps and literal obstruction, traffic jams to prevent any kind of serious buildup, any kind of passing play, any serious top speed attack, the way BDG likes to play. You saw glimpses of that, and they were usually at the very start of the game, like that first goal in the final game. But BDG were just not able to play like BDG tonight, and that was not BDG's fault. Nameless did a great job tonight.
100%. Does look like we do have Ufin waiting here for our winner's interview. If I'm going to drag him in real quick,
my goodness.
See what we can get out of the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Ufin. How are you tonight?
Ecstatic is the word I'm going to use here.
I don't think anybody was really expecting you guys to come out so dominantly, but alas, you guys came out, absolutely showed them what to think, and managed to secure your guys yourselves a win. How would you say you guys were approaching this specifically?
I mean, we didn't really have a game plan. As you know, we took our experience from prior weeks. We looked at what BDG was doing in the prior weeks, and kind of said, okay, they appear to be not one of the stronger contending teams, and we just kind of wanted to have a free play night. But the thing is, I haven't played with my own roster for a bit. I have Alicia as the new headliner for our games here. So I kind of lost the chem, kind of lost the drive on the pitch, and needed to regain that in game 2 through 4. That's why game 1 was such a tragic beginning for us.
Did the game against BD no, I'm sorry. Did the game against SBC, I almost created a time paradox last week, influence your play this week at all? Because it almost seemed like you had experience with the kind of play BDG likes to do and were actively planning for it.
Hmm. Again, as I said, we didn't really have a game plan in mind. We did game plan against SBC last week, but no, not against BDG again, because we didn't consider them a strong contending team against us. As you
Oh
saw,
my.
we did apply a little BTA once I regained composure and was able to act in that team, shadow carrying us all the way to victory with
Oh yes.
deserved points contributions there. And I mean, yeah, we just didn't game plan for them. They do play similar, but SBC is able to execute their game style a bit better than BDG.
Well, 100%. I mean, I guess, we don't want to take up too much of your time tonight, Ufin, but I guess one final question for you before we let you head off. Any other teams that you guys are super excited to be matching up against, in the coming weeks, or maybe any teams that make you a little maybe worried?
Oh
Glad you
my.
asked that, then, because the one team I'm looking forward to going up against yet again will be, well, the team we opened the season against, Reapers. Also, I'm kind of, looking forward to the Thunderbolts matchup in week 8, but Reapers, oh man, division rival, the team we were projected to battle for a divisional number 1 spot, and it's going to be an exciting week 14, finishing up the season on that one.
100%. Well, we thank you for your time here, Ufin, and we thank you for your wonderful, getting to watch your wonderful team play tonight. Definitely a masterclass, I think, of Rocket League that you guys put on. Managed to secure it in
Please don't
4
demo
games.
us.
Yeah, please don't. I'm scared. I'm scared for 6 mans, man. You can't do that to me. I'm scared now to watch to play against you for sure.
Nah, thank you boys for casting for us. It was fun.
100%. Well, that's going to be it for us for this stream specifically. We will be having another stream tonight that I believe yours truly, Kvox, is going to be doing along with Moon. You want to tell us a little bit about that doubleheader tonight?
Oh yes, that's the second part of the doubleheader. That is 1NE Esports against HSA, and I'm gonna have all sorts of words to say about that one as we come up to it, as we come up more towards the hour. But you don't want to miss this because 1NE has been in incredible form, and HSA, although they are winless on the season, I'll talk more about that during that stream. They are not a team to walk over. They have more in-game individual wins than they look, and they've really been making some solid changes. And I'm incredibly interested in seeing how these two play against each other, especially because the scuttlebutt is that both teams are incredibly excited to be playing against each other. This is one of those matchups that they have been looking forward to all season. So if you guys like Rocket League, if you guys like systems and teamwork and coordination and just good old aggression, I think you want to come back at 8 p.m. Go stretch, go get some water, go pet your cat, pet your dog, walk your mom or dad, and come back at 8 p.m. because that is going to be an incredible night, a way to cap off a night of Rocket League. I am still loopy a little from how great Paris was, so that's part of why I am talking gobbledygook half the time.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, we will be right back with that next matchup. We'll be on a real quick break, but when we get back, HSA versus 1NE, so don't go anywhere other than maybe to the bathroom or to grab a snack, but we'll be right back, so stay in your seats.
Welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of tonight's doubleheader. We have 1NE against HSA, two great teams that have been looking forward to playing against each other all season, and the capstone to an absolutely insane night of Rocket League. One of the best Sundays I have ever lived in my entire life. I am K-Vox. With me is Moon, and we are having the absolute honor of casting for you tonight. How are you doing, Moon?
I am doing fine, and I am doing even better now that I get to cast this great matchup between both of these teams. While some people may be thinking that this might not be a great matchup, I believe this is the matchup of the week, K-Vox. Each of these teams coming in on either side of their division, um, you know, 1NE has a chance to really show their confidence and have the dominant force put out for this entire rest of the season, and then HSA has a chance to really push themselves back into the fight for playoffs. K-Vox, tell us about these rosters, man.
This is going to be an interesting one because HSA are actually fielding a new roster. We've got Gello, Davis, and Icy. They've been practicing a lot since they've gotten their new team together. That is not what I was told. Yeah, Gelatin, Icy, Davis. I was just given an abbreviation. Going back to what I was saying, um, they have had a rough start to their season. They've been winless. They are 3% in individual games. They're 6-12, but the team's actually feeling very confident and high spirited because they've been looking over their notes. They've been excited to play 1NE for a long time, and they're eager to show that this start of the season is not the full story. They are going to put the lie to their record, and what we've been seeing from HSA is extreme aggression, very fast paced, very much like how BDG, who we just saw, typically plays. And they just have high volume, just constant shooting. It's fantastic when it works, but when it doesn't, it tends to be a huge counterattack with all three cars in the opposing third. So what they're trying to do, from what I've been hearing from the clubhouse, is more of a one forward, two back approach. You've got a striker, a support, and a cleanup guy in third, and they're hoping that that is going to put them in a good position to face 1NE, who frankly are a sleeper powerhouse, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, and you could easily see that with the players on 1NE. They have a lot of players that are just elite in the goals. Let's start off with Senza. Senza has a 1.55 goals per game. That just makes sense. And he's not at the top. He's top 6. He's in the 6th of top 6, but he's consistently still going around and making insanely great shots. And then you also have TBH Zeno, who's also in that top 15 for goals per game with 1.36. I truly believe this is the match of the week. Each of these teams, HSA are proving themselves this week. If they lose here, they could pretty much kiss their season goodbye. And 1NE has a chance to either continue their dominance or maybe even start a trickling effect of them starting to mess up. Who knows what we will see today?
That's certainly what they're hoping to avoid 1NE, because they were not incredibly happy about how that game went against Lag. That was a knockdown, drag-out series. They really had to fight for that win. Lag put up an absolutely great performance. That's what I was talking up when we were going over the last week's matches during our previous match, during the BDG versus Nameless match. And what I'm interested in seeing is that you are talking about their goals, Senza and Zeno on offense, but also their defense. They have some of the best defense in the league, some of the most saves in the league, and I'm very interested in seeing how well they are able to hold up mentally and physically to a revamped HSA roster that really likes fast attacking. But there's only one way to find out how this is going to end, my friend. Good night, Moon. Good morning, Rocket League. Any second, we have kickoff.
Yes, yes, yes. I feel like a kid in a candy store, about to just get let loose every time. we have a start to a series here in Champions League. K-Bots, keep it going for us.
Oh, certainly. Davis wins the initial kickoff, but Az, you're going to like watching Az. He's incredibly good at spotting the open lane and capitalizing on it. Senza and Zeno like to set him up. Senza's already trying to play the ball off for Zeno. He's got an open dribble, but Davis snatches it right off the roof of his car. A lot of early boost depletion right now, Moon. So that's going to be a key factor, especially... Oh, you don't like to see that. Davis is a little too wide, but that team bump, my friend, could have been very, very costly this early into the match.
Yeah, you can definitely see each team is trying to get a quick footing off, and making sure you can get that quick step is a key to success here.
I thought you were going. I thought you were still going. I'm terribly sorry.
I thought I was going to get a shot attempt there, and I was trying to let it go off to you. But again, each team is being quick here. But there is a constant use you put out of that boost depletion. Making sure you're, trying to keep that boost together is a easy way to make sure you can keep the momentum going for your side. And, it seems like 1NE is going to try to put themselves on the offensive here.
Yeah, so far, you're also seeing that they're going to be hoping to isolate Davis a bit because he has very much been the predominant striker for HSA as we go into the second minute of this match. Az gets an absolutely wicked pinch off Senza, sends it back towards midfield. Senza, a little too wide. Gelatin, he can't get that in. That's not it! Az gets it in! What a way to...
my!
Yes! Tell us some more about this, Moon. Walk us through it.
Oh my gosh. What I will say for that goal is that was just nothing but determination. Each time 1NE were stuck at the net, each one of them tried to keep going for it. And there was a kerfuffle there from HSA, but Az saw an opening, but here comes King Icy. Oh, we've got a match on our hands, K-Box.
That is absolutely archetypal kickoff goal openings because you see half of 1NE, I'm saying 1.5 cars because one of those guys was probably wishing he could turn back, and just way too far into the attacking third, and there's only one defender. So that freed up HSA to immediately execute a press. And right now you've got another redirect. Sir Gelatin puts them up ahead. They've got the first lead of the night. Their first lead of the night, I should say. Look at Davis setting this up off the wall. Senza brings up the audio so that we can hear what's going on. And in the magic of what happened there was a goal. I couldn't see the replay.
Yeah, no, look, what happens there is the quickness of HSA. 1NE wasn't even able to fully set up there,
Right,
and
right.
with that in mind, King Gelatin, or Sir Gelatin, excuse me, get a little mixed up with the names. Sir Gelatin is just able to slot it right back in with the redirect. Holy, that is some communication there.
Oh yes, Senza equalizes with a plum. Look at this long clear. Sir Gelatin manages to get the corner boost. Davis is in a horrible position, no boost at all to get that shot, and it goes clear over Sir Gelatin. That was just a nasty rotational collapse, and that is the kind of thing that you expect to see with 1NE. They're very good at dividing the defense, faking them out, making them unsure where the attack is going to come from. TBH Zeno for short, has the high-level RLCS experience to create a hub for Senza and Az, and really just make it incredibly uncomfortable to play against this squad.
Yeah, so far, we're only, about to be 3 minutes into this first game, but I can already tell this is going to be a war of attrition. Each team is playing on absolute madness right now. They're moving at high cylinders, and it's a match of who can make the less mistakes here.
Yeah, that is what it always comes down to. I've mentioned this a couple times before that there's a bit of an ideological divide. We were talking about this in the match that we were going to cast last few days ago. Some
Yes.
teams see it as who scores the most goals. Some see it as who concedes the fewest. And look at how Az gets this opportunity. Senza gets it off of Sir Gelatin's car, sends it right to him, but Sir Gelatin ends up passing it straight to Az, and everyone else has been removed from the play. Everyone else is too far forward to see what Az is even doing. Az is the lowest rated member of 1NE, but you absolutely cannot underestimate him. He is an incredible fan of RLCS and a huge traditional sports fan. To borrow a phrase, the man knows ball.
And ball he does know indeed. There's a certain point of when you understand a game so much, you can start exploiting the weaknesses in those games. You can see Gelatin was not expecting anybody to be there, and there was Az right there. Some people would say that's a stupid positioning play, but that's the reason why it's the best positional play, because nobody would expect it.
Right now, you're seeing a bit of a dangerous jam. That is what happens when you don't expect the attack. Davis comes up because he knows Sir Gelatin is leading Zeno and Senza into this position where the cars are awkwardly wedged between them, and they're not going to be able to stop him from just slamming it in. You don't really have any good control over your car with that position and that little boost, and the ball just kind of stuck in that corner. There was nothing 1NE could really do except not be in that place.
And that was textbook positioning there. You can tell HSA has a really good idea of that. And so does Isaac.
My.
Good idea of aim. Holy. Just
The
a
power on
beautiful
that.
shot. Just the power, the art, the speed. Oh, wow.
I want to remind the folks at home that Senza has one of the highest save counts in the league. It's not easy to get a shot clean over his car like that. Icy did an incredible job there, and you can see what I was talking about, that HSA is determined to show that their early showing is not what their org has to offer. And I see a lot of their early Halo influence in this. I don't know how much Halo you've played in your day, but
a little
that
bit here and there.
Okay, Zeno wants to activate the ring and kill all the humans or whatever that game was about. It's been about 20 years. Don't sue me. Look at how he fishes it out of that corner. Az creates the opening by pulling it out away from the defense, and Zeno smacks it straight off his car. That is the kind of synergy that's going to keep them away from this HSA pressure, because HSA is seriously making them sweat. And I'm interested in the mental here too, because when you are already coming out of a series you weren't too happy about, and you have to really push yourself against a team that has kind of reorganized and is bringing you into overtime like this, which is already incredibly stressful, I'm very interested to see how well 1NE holds on.
Yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see here, K-Vox.
Oh, pinching off the wall. Senza!
Wow. Just beauty. Just a pure, beautiful shot. Jumps straight from midfield and sends it right back to the HSA net. That was an insane finish there.
It's very interesting to me that the ball movement is becoming part of the meta again. You're seeing a lot more infield and outlet passes in Rocket League at all levels. You're seeing a lot more passing plays. You're seeing a lot more setting balls up for each other. And that was a perfect example, because Az just knocks that straight off Gelatin's car, off the kickoff, bounces it off the wall, and sends a nose to go there. That's the kind of play that you just drill over and over in free play, in scrims, in private games. That is team synergy. That is chemistry. And chemistry is the name of the game from when I've talked to 1NE.
Yeah, you can easily see it. Each of these teams are moving at an insane pace, but you can just tell that hive mind-like sense that 1NE has. Every time they've been down, they've quickly given a rebuttal. And here's some Zeno to start off this next one.
Really proving you right. Look how he sends us up, and King can't quite get that. He almost gets his bumper on it, but he hits the backboard. It slots down, straight down for TBH Zeno to smack it in. Right now, Senza's going for the ball. Zeno cheats up. He can't quite get back to it. Sir Gelatin manages to win the ball. That is an open net, but Zeno gets there in time. Weathers the storm. He gets 2 defenders off him. Right now, that's going off the walls. Gelatin has a shot. Sinks it!
Oh my gosh. You know, I would really give that one to Davis right there. The ability to keep that one up and Sir Gelatin to just finish there. Oh my, that play could have easily been dead if Davis doesn't get that touch.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a perfect setup. That's why assists matter so much. That's why you can't just go off goals. And Senza is eager to settle the score. Look at how that fake kickoff goes. No one manages to touch the ball. Davis was clearly expecting to cheat up and win the contact. So Senza just has a wide open lane.
Yeah, just unfortunate blunder there. HSA, though, has a lot of time to put themselves back into this running. But we've seen with that first game, they were never really out, even if we thought they were.
Oh, I never thought they were out. I don't know about you. You know, that's actually, I didn't even need to call that one. The actual Rocket League announcer was perfect for that. Just denied. Thank you, try again. Zeno's trying to get it off. Well, he's in a bit of an awkward spot. Pinches it off a defender. Senza goes after it. Can't quite get to it. Gelatin's going up. Tries to get it by Az. Senza beats him to it. Az is waiting for another opportunity. Davis goes by. Gets the save. Az is trying to set something up for Zeno. Goes off the wall. Is Senza coming? Is Az coming? Gelatin tries to get it by him. Can't quite do it. That's a wall of cars in front of blue net. Oh, Zeno has the angle, though. He's going up. Az is there in the background. Gelatin is waiting for it. That's just going wide, Moon. I'm not entirely sure if one enemy's going to be able to find the angle, but they don't really need to, now do they?
No, not really. They're at this point of where they are just fully in control now. You know, they don't need to go too far into trying to push too hard and try to make too many mistakes, but I do not want them to try not to lose here. As beautiful shot coming in from out of nowhere.
That is exactly what I would expect. You see Zeno remove the defender. You see Senza set up the shot by bouncing it off the crossbar, and Az finishes. It's like a pack of Deinonychus were taught tiki-taka.
You would think that they would be from Norway with how good they're playing around. You know, maybe playing some total football type action, but maybe a little more like Man City with tiki-taka, you know. But either way, 1&E are now moving in this, you know, setting of they're not trying to lose, they're just trying to win, and being in that type of mindset just completely make sure they can be in control this entire time. The HSA shouldn't give up here. They still have a great chance. Not if Ash tries to get an entire good shot there.
Oh, that's Senza!
Sends it right back. You know, you have to ask, what is the mental looking like for HSA at this point? Would you have an idea of how they'd be thinking, K-Box?
Well, I don't have psychic powers. I just play a handsome psychic on TV. But when you're going down this much and seeing the score ramp up, it's incredibly stressful, especially when you are already staring down a fairly dismal season record despite a more or less respectable in-game matches, the individual games in every match. And they're definitely hoping to make something happen here. They were hoping to get an early win. They were hoping to really punch 1&E in the mouth. And as 1&E warms up and their chemistry kicks back in, I think it's going to be hard for HSA not to start playing more desperately. You're actually seeing 1&E play a very comfortable kind of Rocket League, but that's dangerous. Okay, Sir Gelatin can't quite find the angle. He sets it up for Icy. Senza gets it by him, and Zeno can't quite get it. Davis is there, but this is what I was talking about. Look how 1&E is spreading the field, spreading the defenders out across the pitch, and creating positional overloads where every defender is facing 2 or even 3 1-in cars.
Yeah, you know, when you have that type of grasp and understanding on positioning, you know, it's really dang near impossible to even be able to get an entirely good shot on a team with that such, you know, that much positional intellect.
Yeah, that is exactly why it becomes important to have team chemistry, to have a team you practice with a lot, scrim a lot, you do ranked grinds with them a lot, you understand how they work, and this is a team that was picked from the outset to complement each other's strengths and shore up each other's weaknesses. Zeno is there for the mechanical ceiling, Az is there for, oh my goodness, he's usually much better than this, but Gelatin sets it up perfectly for King Icy, and you see all three 1NE defenders surging up. Az realizes where it's going to go, and he doubles back because of his instincts. He's a very good player who's aware of where all the relevant angles are, but that's the exact kind of play, ironically, that 1NE wants to do to their opponents.
Yeah, 1NE, they still have a good grasp on this, but you can see confidence in HSA is starting to rile back up. Each of them constantly going for this ball, constantly making a shot. And of course, every player tries to do that. But when you are down 5-3, it's kind of hard to believe that you're still in, a series, a game. And some people try to just mentally reset and leave this game out of their head and keep trying to go for the next one to try to put their next foot forward. But it seems like HSA here is not trying to make that happen. They want to get this win right here, right now.
That was a very interesting idea from Sir Gelatin, bodily removing a defender, makes the save, gets back in time. Beautiful jump on that, but can Zeno get it off King Icy? No! That is going to get spiked straight down, and 1NE is on match point, my friend. There's a lot of interesting ideas here from HSA, but it seems like none of them are really coming together consistently enough to lead to an actual game win.
Yeah, you see that HSA has an idea of what they want to do. We saw it in that first match of this series so far, and it just feels like HSA has lost their footing. They've lost that foundation that they had, and that can happen, especially after pushing a team this high up into overtime. And then after going into overtime, getting scored on in 12 seconds, that is a blow to the confidence. And you can see that in this game here. They weren't as fast, weren't as quick. I want to see HSA reset themselves, try to get the momentum working, try to get the foundation set early and quick. If they don't, they could probably kiss this game goodbye.
Well, 1NE are on match point, so if HSA are going to make anything happen, it has to happen now. If I'm them, I want to get this first kickoff out of the way, and I want to really hit 1NE in the mouth. I want to play ugly, physical, break up this coordination, and really try to force these three players to not be able to support each other. Mess up their spacing, don't get demoed by Az, play it off the corner. Davis is setting it up for Icy. That might go in, it doesn't! Senzo with the save! I was telling you about his defense, Moon.
Yeah, that guy, oh my. We call him the guardian angel from where I come. And wow, that is some divine intervention coming from Senza.
Yeah, Senza has a bit of a spider sense for the ball, if you know what I mean. Icy gets by Zeno. Senza, Davis, sends it back. That's probably a back pass meant for Gelatin, who's not quite able to get to it. Zeno goes for the shot. The collision with Gelatin saves it. Az trying to set something up. There's no one in a good position to rotate back and turn that into an attack. Zeno misses it. Senza stops that from being a shot on an open net. Davis loops it up. Zeno tries to block the double tap. That's not going in. Open net!
Wow. Just, that one is just really unfortunate for HSA. HSA constantly, they were all up, fighting hard as they ever could, and just a missed shot from Davis, I believe, hitting the top of the crossbar, just gave an open net to Senza. And at that point, they were all in their rotations. Nothing you could really do at that point.
Yeah, that's actually a classic issue HSA tends to have. They have a very high pressing style. I was talking about this at the start of the match. When it works, it's great. It's incredibly high pressure. It's a pain in the butt to deal with, and you just sweat and sweat and sweat, and the shots never stop coming. A bit like SBC or BDG. But when it doesn't work, they have a wide open backfield, and this is what they're wanting to happen. They don't want those counterattacks to happen. Look how Davis gets this off the ball, that misses a defender, floats straight on in. He plays it off of Zeno. Zeno gets the save, but Davis plays through contact to get it in.
You know, somebody also I want to put out for there is Icy getting that demo in the net. It causes Senza to rotate early to try to get to and make this 50-50, but it's not enough time. Senza's not able to fully connect. But let's see what 1NE is going to try to do to get back into this one.
What I will be interested in seeing from HSA is if they are able to go back into the system they're trying to train, where they have more of that disciplined one front, one and two back style, where they have a striker and they have two support players. Right now, Icy sends it up, Az is ready to catch it. Davis is trying to make something happen. Sir Gelatin makes something happen for a moment there. That's incredibly scary. Zeno sends it up. Az is not in position. Neither is Senza. That's going to be too high. Davis makes the save. Didn't really need to stretch for it, but might as well get the clear. Icy's carrying it along the wall. Senza's already positioning himself to stop it. Icy deals with a couple defenders. Senza's dribbling it up. Davis already playing for it, but there's no one there. There's no one there. Az gets it in.
Wow, just, you know, you talked about the high pressing style and you know, the one striker, two support setup coming from HSA. But that 1NE style of just everybody, even though they're all pressing, the constant spread out of their positioning is just beautiful to see. Everybody is always one step ahead of each other, and they all look like they know exactly what each player is going to do. That is just pure team cohesion coming from 1NE.
Absolutely. I was talking to you last time about how one of the beautiful things about this esport is you can't tell the coordination is happening. You can't hear the comms. It's not like you can see people on the pitch yelling at each other or pointing wherever they want each other to go. So what I'm seeing here is that 1NE's comms have been something they've been talking about wanting to train, and their comms must be getting a lot better because they are just doing such a great job of supporting each other. Look at this. Senza tries to set that up for Az. Az unfortunately misses it, but you know, just because something doesn't work doesn't mean it was a bad idea. Zeno goes up. He's got no defenders in front of him. Icy goes for it. Davis manages it. Gets demoed. That's a defender out of position. Gelatin tries to bounce it up the wall. Senza's ready to block. Az tries to steal it away. Zeno sends it up high. Is anyone following up? Az tries to get it away. Zeno's going up. Sets it up for himself. Goes down. That's not quite going to go in. Too high. That gets it away from Az. Davis trying to ferry it along. Senza's low on boost, but has just enough power to keep the threat going. Zeno loses the ball. Az fails the challenge. Senza gets it by Davis. Gelatin's trying to get it through. That's a wide net. Davis managing to get it in time. Az and Zeno are there, though. That is a dangerous combo. Senza! Wide!
Yeah, no, that was just an insane moment in rallying of either side. You know, you can see the pressure that 1NE is putting on HSA. None of them are able to fully get themselves back together. But here comes Davis. Davis trying to go for it, but it gets quickly sent out by Az. Icy sends it back. Zeno sends it around.
And this could be the final 30 seconds of what has been a hopeful match in several respects for HSA. They have had moments of brilliance through all three games, but 20 seconds have whittled down. We're going towards the final 10 seconds. They have plenty of time for one goal. The question is, will 1NE's defense crack? I don't think it's going to. They are in coast-to-coast territory. It's dropping straight down. No defenders are able to get to that. Gelatin reaches for it, doesn't have the boost. Can Davis reach it? He gets it up. It's going down, though. Senza spikes it down. Zeno finishes it. 1NE win.
Wow, just utter dominance coming from 1NE today. You know, they came in today as the top of the Boreas division, and they're going to keep that. That's going to push them to a 4-1 record. And unfortunately, HSA is going to go now down 0-5. Just unfortunate, but amazing heart being shown from HSA today, K-Vox.
Absolutely. You could definitely
I think we've lost Kvox. But what I will say today is, the big people we have seen that was just major players in today's matchup from 1E was probably Senza. Senza automatically was the big name you should have reached out for, but he showed that. He showed that today. He came in already with a max a top goals per game, that 1.55, and there wasn't a major amount of goals. You saw it in the first game, but there were, it was still a great showing, from 1E and Senza today. But also, I do have to bring it out for HSA. HSA, an amazing showing today. Even though they did lose, it still showed the heart that they had, and I don't want them to give up. Even though they're going to go down a lot today, or a lot after this loss today, I still don't want them to give up, because they always can look towards season 4. Season 4 is, hopefully going to be here after season 3, and they can always look towards there, and they can always keep trying to push forward. K-Box, what else do you have about this matchup?
One thing I have is that matchup was so intense that it appears to have knocked me off the internet for about 2 solid minutes and left my poor co-commentator in the lurch, wondering what the heck was happening. Give Moon a hand, everybody in chat. He really carried that past 2 minutes. He's been an incredible co-commentator. Love having this man. And speaking of people we love to have, here is our special guest, Gex and Melikium, the heroes of the hour. How are you two doing?
Well, I'm doing all right. I hope Gex is doing okay, because he was having the fun time doing his team stream. It's a great win. Thank you so much for hosting, by the way. How y'all doing?
We're doing amazing. We're doing amazing. How does it feel to see your team win here today?
No, it feels amazing. They've put in a bunch of work. They've been everyone's kind of got life stuff going on right now so to see us kind of be able to keep our form even through everything has been amazing. And I think it's also a big up for the mental for Az a little bit, because Az just played a grand final and lost in game 7, so he did kind of need this win as well for himself and for his confidence. So I'm really proud of the guys.
I heard from down the grapevine a lot of people talking about how both 1NE and HSA were really looking forward to playing against each other on this. Did either of you, Gex or Melikium, have specific plans for HSA? Was this a match you game planned at all?
Gex, that might be a you question.
I wasn't planning to be a part of this interview, but yeah, that is fair to direct at me, I think. Look, I've been personally looking at HSA a lot this season. I don't know if it's specifically them, but they are the kind of team that I've been gearing up to face. But there are a few teams with similar playstyles, so it's not specifically them, but they are, I think, the biggest threat as far as that kind of playstyle goes. However, I don't think HSA were really up to their own standard today. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to the matchup a second time round at some point. I know we will be facing them again, but it's not just a them thing. I think we've got a few teams targeted with this playstyle.
How do you
I
feel
kind of
about...
want to
Go
add
ahead.
on if
Go
I
ahead.
can. I'm sorry.
Certainly. Go.
I do want to say, I know this team, what we do is what we usually do is we like to look at some of the teams that we get to play against to kind of spot the level. We love to scout. We love doing that. It's a great thing as well for our environment. That kind of shows off our personality a little bit. Not to mention, we're always having to play different types of teams. So the preparation for every single series, even if we don't completely know who we're playing against, is always kind of different. Like the type of scrims that we order in the week off, it's like, okay, sometimes we want to get the scrims with the top heavy teams, or sometimes it's the teams that have more balanced salaries. So I think our preparation every week is always just a little bit different, and that's one of the things that keeps us on our feet in matches like this.
Yep.
All right, we have about 10 seconds left before we have to raid, so thank you both incredibly much for lending your
Thank
time
you.
and for putting on such a great match tonight. And everybody, I am probably being cut off because I am wordy as heck, but goes give our good rating partners a nice hello. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.